Good morning, friends. Welcome to this session. In today's session, we will study about the economics, that is economics in plant selection and power generation. Okay, so let us see what is economics in plant selection. That is, here we will be studying about the various plants and how the economics will depend. So based on that, how we will select the power plant, that is hydroelectric, nuclear and all. Okay. So first thing is that whatever the power plant is there, it should be reliable. Okay, it should be reliable, and the capacity of the power plant, it should depend upon the power demand. Okay, whatever the power demand is there, based on that, our capacity will be depending, and the capacity of the power plant, it should be more than the predicted maximum demand. So whatever the predicted maximum demand is there, we can't have same. We should have the capacity more than the maximum demand. Okay, and it is also desirable that the number of generating units, whatever the power generating units are there, it should be 2 or more than 2. And now whatever the number of generating unit are there, it should be chosen so that the it should be working efficiently. Okay, and we should also take care that too many standby units, too many standby power generate units, that will what happen, it will increase the capital investment, and if the capital investment is increased, so overall cost of the generation will also increase. Then the thermal efficiency and the operating cost of the steam power plant. So here we are discussing about the steam power plant. So thermal efficiency and operating cost of steam plant, it depend upon the steam conditions, so that such as the throttle pressure and temperature. Okay, then same way in the same steam power plant, the efficiency of the boiler is maximum at the rated capacity, and boiler will fitted with the heat recovering devices. Like we know that what are the heat recovering devices, they are preheater, then economizer. Okay, and they give the efficiency of the order of 90%. That is the boiler efficiency. We are not talking here about the steam power plant efficiency. The boiler efficiency can be increased if we use the recovering devices like preheater, economizers and all. Okay, but the additional cost, that is the additional equipment cost, will has to be balanced against the operating cost. Okay, so that what will happen, we go on adding the accessories, and our overall cost will be increasing, and the operating cost will also increase. And in case of the hydropower plant, okay, power can be produced at low cost provided water is available in large quantities. Okay, and the capital cost per unit installed, it is higher if the quantity of the water available is small. So if the large quantity of water is available, the power generation will be also high, and whatever the cost is there, it will be low. And while installing a hydropower plant, cost of the land, then cost of the water rights, civil engineering works cost. Okay, so they should be considered properly, because they involve the large capital expenditure. So because this will investment will be very high, so we have to choose wisely for this one. And the other factor which influence the choice of hydropower plant, it is the cost of power transmission lines and the loss of energy in transmission. The planning and the design construction of the hydropower plant is difficult and takes sufficient time. So whatever the project is there, sometimes the project it has run for 25 years also for building the dams and all. Okay, so it takes a lot of time. Okay, in olden days it will be happening. Then the nuclear power plant, for if we see for the nuclear power plant, okay, so it should be installed in area having a limited conventional power resources. Then nuclear power plant, it should be also located in remote area or unpopulated area. Okay, so whatever the in case of radioactive leakage is there, so to avoid the damage, we have to use this nuclear power plant in the unpopulated area. Okay, what otherwise what happen, it will cause an accident. And also the disposal of the radioactive waste, it should be easy, and large quantity of the water should be available at the nuclear power plant site. That is because we will be using the water for the cooling. And what are the capital cost of the nuclear power plant is there, that is more than the steam power plant if compared with the same capacity. And but nuclear power plant, they require less space as compared to any other plant of equivalent size. But the maintenance cost, so you can see the cost of maintenance, it is very high. Suppose if we consider for the diesel power plant, so diesel power plant, it can be easily located at the load center. So wherever the load center is there, our plant will be there, diesel power plant. And the choice of the diesel power plant, it depends upon the thermodynamic considerations, that is the working of the fuel. Then the engine efficiency, it improves with the compression ratio. But higher pressure, it necessitates the heavier construction of equipment with increased cost. Okay. And diesel power plants, their limitations is that they are suitable for only smaller outputs. Okay. So then if we consider for the gas turbine power plants, okay, so again gas turbine power plant, it is suitable for the smaller outputs, and the cost of gas turbine, it is relatively low, and the cost of gas turbine increases as the sample plant is modified by the inclusion of equipment like regenerator. Okay. So we know that we have studied about the gas turbine, regenerator will be there, reheater will be there, and intercooler. Okay. So if we add on these things, so the cost of the gas turbine increases. But again, there will be the improvement in the efficiency if we use this regenerator, reheater, and intercooler. And this plant is quite useful for regions where gaseous fuel is available in large quantities. Okay, so if in order to meet the variable load, we should also use the prime movers and generators, and they have to act fairly quickly to take up the load without variation of voltage or a frequency of the system. Okay, so what happens, this requires the supply of the fuel to the prime mover should be carried out by the action of the governor. So governing system is also very much important. Whatever the fuel supply is there, that should be easily transported to the turbine section. Okay, so diesel and hydropower plants, they are very quick to respond to the load variation. Okay, as the control supply is only for the prime mover. Okay, but in what happens in the steam power plant, the control is required for the boilers as well as turbines. And boiler control, it may be manual or automatic for feeding air, then feeding water, fuel, etc. Okay, so in case of the load variations, so again steam power plant, it will be there we will have the difficulty in the that is shifting to the variant loads. And boiler control, it takes time to act, and therefore the steam power plants cannot take up the variable load quickly. So to cope up with the variable load operation, so it is necessary for the power station to keep reserve plant to ready and to maintain the reliability and continuity of power supply. Okay. So this was about the steam power plant. And if you see how that is in the steam power plant, we are having that variable load cannot be operated. Okay. Suppose if we see the consider an example to supply a load, the base load may be supplied by a steam power plant, and peak load may be supplied by a hydropower plant or the diesel power plant. So normally steam power plant, we will be using this diesel power plant. Okay, so whenever that is base load will be acting for the steam power plant, and the peak load will be from the diesel power plant. And the size and the number of generating units, it should be chosen such that each will be operate on about full load or the load at which it gives the maximum efficiency. So whatever the power generating unit is there, they should operate at the full load conditions, and it should give the maximum efficiency. Okay. And in a power station, there should be only one generating unit, nor should there be large number of small sets of different sizes. Okay. And in steam power plant, generating sets of 80 to 500 megawatt are commonly used, whereas the maximum size of this diesel power plant is around 44,000 kilowatt. This was about the economics of in the plant selection. So now we will see about the economics of power generation. So plant selection means we know there are various plants are there. that is hydroelectric, then nuclear, diesel, gas turbine. Okay, so how that economics will work, that is economics means what it is about the cost of the what based on the cost how we can select the plant. So now we will discuss about the economics in the power generation, economics of the power generation. So the art of the determining per unit, that is 1 kilowatt hour cost of the production of electrical energy, is known as the economics of power generation. So almost we are discussing this one, kilowatt hour. Then economics is the main principle of design of power plant. Okay, power plant economics is important in controlling the total power costs to the consumers, and power should be supplied to the consumer at lowest possible cost per kilowatt hour. So then only the that will benefit for the, that will be benefit for customers and also for the companies. So companies should also get the profit, so there should be a reasonable cost. And the total cost of the power generation, it is made up of fixed cost and operating cost. And fixed cost consists of the interest on capital, taxes, insurance and management cost. And operating cost consists of the cost of fuel, labor, repair, stores and supervision. So already this part we have studied about the fixed cost, operating cost and all. And the cost of the power generation, it can be reduced by selecting equipment of longer life and proper capacities, and running the power station at high load factors, then increasing the efficiency of the power plant, then carrying out proper maintenance, then keeping the proper supervision. And we have to use the simple design of the power plant. Okay, and if you see the power plant selection, it depends on the fixed and operating cost. Okay, and the fuel cost, it is quite high in case of the diesel power plant. And for the hydro power plant, the fixed charges are high, of the order of 70 to 80% of the cost generation, because the heavy structure civil engineering is required for the hydroelectric power plant. And if you see the typical proportion of the generating cost for a steam power station, so here we are talking about the steam power station. So fuel cost is around 30 to 40%, and fixed charges for the power plant, they are around 50 to 60%, and operating and maintaining cost are around 5 to 10%. So power generating units, they should run at the full load. Okay, and they can give the maximum efficiency. And the way of deciding the size and number of the units in the power station, so it is used to choose the number of sets to fit the load curve as closely as possible. And it is necessary for a power station to maintain reliability and continuity of the power supply at all the time. And in the electric power plant, the capital cost of the generating equipment, they increase the, that will whatever the generating equipment increases, and that will increase with the increase in efficiency. So if that benefit is there, so we can increase the capital investment. Okay, but somewhere we have to cut off, that is we have to lower the fuel cost. Okay, so this diagram shows about the annual cost with respect to the efficiency. Okay, so here we can see fixed cost, that is it will get the linear curve. Okay, because it is the fixed cost. And operating cost you can see. Okay, so as the efficiency increases, the operating cost will decrease, and this is the total cost is variable. Okay, so then we will study about the load curves. The load demand on a power system is governed by the consumers, and for system supplying industrial and domestic consumers. So we are having the domestic customers and we are having the industrial customers. So the demand is variable depending upon the customers. And this variation of the load can be considered daily, weekly, monthly or yearly. So typical load curves for a large power system, so they are shown in the figure, and these curves are for day and for the year, and this shows the load demand by the consumers at a particular time. And such load curves are termed as a chronological load curve. So load curves means what? That is the graph between the load, okay, and between the time. So time, it can be in terms of hours, then days, okay, it can be in terms of months, okay, and years. And load, that is depending on the requirement. So load will be always in megawatt, okay. So here, that is, the requirements will be there, demand will be there, okay, from the various customers, and we will be considering the average load, and that average load will be supplied. Okay, so here you can see this is in terms of load per time, that is in hours, and here you can say it is in terms of months, that is time is in terms of months. Okay, so that is, we can see January, the load is increasing, okay, and when we come to the June, so the load is decreasing. So again, when we come to the December, so load is increasing. So combinedly we can take this average load. Okay, so we know that summer, that is, we require fan, then refrigerator, so working will be there, so load will be increased at that time. If the ordinates of the chronological load curves, they are arranged in the descending order of the magnitude, with the highest ordinates on the left, a new type of load curve will occur, that is known as the load duration curve. So this is shown in the previous figure, okay, so that we call it as the load duration. So this is the load duration curve. Okay, so another type of curve, it is that is the energy load curve or integrated duration curve, and this curve is plotted between the load, that is megawatt, or it may be kilowatt, and the total energy generated in terms of kilowatt hour. Okay, so if we draw the curve that is with respect to the load and the energy generated, so that will become the energy duration curve. So here in this diagram we can see, okay, this is the load duration curve, that is load versus time, so it is in terms of hours, okay, load is in terms of megawatt. Okay, so here that is the maximum load, that we call it as the peak load, and the basic load we call it as the base load, and this is the energy load curve. And energy load curve, it will be representing the load in terms of megawatt, and energy, that is cumulative energy, that is kilowatt hour. Okay, if we see the stand-up point of the equipment needed and the operating routine, the ideal load on the power plant, it would be one of the constant magnitude and steady duration. Okay, and we can see that the shape of the actual load curve, that departs far from this ideal, that is shown in the figure 3.7, that is here, this one, load 1. Okay, the cost to the produce 1 unit of electric power in former case will be, that is half to 3/4, okay, that is half, that is 50% to 75% of the later case. Okay, and when the load does not remain constant or steady but varies with the time, and this is because the lower fixed cost of the equipment due to simplified control and the elimination of various auxiliaries and regulating devices. So also we can see that the ideal load curve will result in improved operating conditions with various plant machines like turbine and generators, okay, operating at the best efficiency. So the reason behind the shape of the actual realized load curve is that the various users of the electric power, that is industrial, domestic, they impose highly variable demands upon the capacity of the plant. Okay, so that is ideal curve will be different, and real, that is load curve, will be different. Ideal, that is the we will be taking the requirements from the customers, that is demands, okay, but actual working, whatever the load will be there, that will be different. Okay, so we should have the maximum demand capacity, so that we can cope up with the base load and peak load. So in this way we have studied about the economics in plant selection and economics in the power generation. So for economics in the power generation, so these curves are very much important, that is load duration curve and energy duration curve, and this graph, that is load curve. Load curve is also very much important. That is, it will be helpful in determining the that is total cost of the power generation. So there are different parameters, operating cost and fixed cost. So we can solve the numericals based on this economics in the next class. Okay, so thank you very much, all of you.